Crystal, this is the first of many interviews with in support of America's 250 celebration in McCreary County. McCreary County's theme, as you well know, is 250 years, Voices of McCreary Past and Present. And I welcome you.
Thank you.
And as one of the committee members and also as executive director of the McCreary County Heritage Foundation, you wear many, many hats and you do them all well. So we're presently sitting in the depot of the McCreary County Heritage Foundation's Big South Fork Scenic Railway Depot. So can you tell us a little bit about the railway, Crystal?
Yeah. So here in the depot is kind of where everything connects. The railroad was originally part of the Kentucky and Tennessee Railway, built to move coal and lumber throughout the mountains, up through the mountains and into Stearns here. So Stearns was originally founded in 1902 by Justice S. Stearns. He was from Ludington, Michigan. I'll get it right in a minute. So he came here in search for timber and ended up finding coal. So that's how it came about, Stearns Coal and Lumber Company. So the Kentucky and Tennessee Railway operated on, it had 25 miles of train tracks that went down through the mountains and into Tennessee, actually. So now, once the coal industry declined, the railway nearly disappeared. But in the early 1980s, it was preserved and reopened as the Big South Fork Scenic Railway. So today we are still using the same tracks, just for a different purpose. So instead of hauling coal and lumber, we're hauling people. So it just isn't a train ride, it's a journey through the story of this entire region.
So where is the destination, the final destination of the Big South Fork?
So currently our destination on the Big South Fork Scenic Railway is Blue Heron, which is a mining camp. It was mine number 18 of the Stearns Coal and Lumber Company.
Did the Stearns Company build themselves all 25 miles of this railway?
They did. They built all 25 miles, including a tunnel, a 256-foot-long tunnel.
Wow. Probably hand-hewn?
It was hand-hewn.
Wow. And the visitors on the Big South Fork, they actually go through that tunnel?
They go through that tunnel. It's like stepping back in time.
Besides the beautiful scenery, is there anything else that's on the route to Mine 18, Blue Heron?
Well, once you go through the tunnel, there are a couple locations of mines. There was Justice Mines that you pass through, which is no longer there. It closed in 1976, I think. So it closed in 1976, but you can kind of tell where it still was. It was there. Once you pass there, you'll go through Barthel, which was actually the location of Stearns Coal and Lumber Company's number 1 mine and number 2 mine. That was the first coal that was hauled out back up the tracks.
And is that owned by the government or the McCreary County Heritage Foundation?
So Barthel is privately owned. It's owned by the Cogers. They came in and bought that land and rebuilt it to look just like it used to. They have buildings on the same place. They have a doctor's office. You can see where the doctor's office used to be. The bathhouse. Also, store number 2 of the Stearns Coal and Lumber Company was there. There's also a one-room school and church house where they conducted school and church services.
Where was store number 1 for the Stearns Company?
Store number 1 is actually located here in Stearns, just adjacent to the depot here where we're at.
Right. As I understand it, the first store 1 was where the artisan shop is currently located, and then they later moved it in 1928 up to the building that the McCreary County Heritage Foundation is restoring, alongside store number 3.
Yes.
So they numbered their stores. That's interesting the way they did that.
They kept track of how they were built. So store number 1 is here, store number 2 is in Barthel, and then you come back here and you have store number 3.
That's interesting. If any of our viewers would like to ride the Big South Fork Scenic Railway, how would they go about purchasing tickets?
So they could call 606-376-5330, and we can get them tickets over the phone. You can also go to the website, www.bsfsry.com, and you can purchase tickets there as well.
We also have some other historic buildings. The predominant building in downtown Stearns is the corporate headquarters. A lot of people think that that was, number one, the hotel, which it's not. Number two, they sometimes think it was a private home, which it was never a private home. So could you tell us about the corporate headquarters and what was housed in that building and what it currently houses?
Yeah, so currently it houses the museum, the McCreary County Museum, which tells all kinds of history about, it has mining exhibits telling about what the life used to be like for the coal miners here. Different artifacts are located up there. Have a steam whistle is located there. We have exhibits about military, just all kinds of different exhibits that kind of go along with our history.
I'm blessed to work at the McCreary County Museum quite often with Kylie Hollis and also with Keith Davenport, and we are archiving everything in that building. And it's a labor of love because our heritage is so unique as the youngest county in the Commonwealth. And we have finished a lot of things and found some new items. But some of the things that might be of interest would be our military exhibits for our wonderful military that are here. We have a Stearns Hotel, and a lot of people are interested in the hotel. As you know, our hotel is no longer standing. It was when the Justice Stearns, when the Heritage Foundation began to sell off the Stearns Company in the early 70s, they donated all the materials for the Stearns Hotel to Elmer Boggs and the 4-H Club. So a lot of the big logs, the hemlock and a lot of that for the 4-H camp at Sandhill came from the Stearns Hotel. A lot of people find that interesting. We also have a railway and railroad room that we have there, and subsistence farming exhibit interesting. And that is because before the Stearns Company came to this area, that was a livelihood of most of the people, just basically trying to make a living from the land is how they made their living. Also, we have a post office, an example of what the community store would have looked like at the turn of the century. So I think that people would be interested in that. Crystal, in addition to the Big Southport Scenic Railway and some of the buildings that we have here, we also have housed in this depot the artisan shop. Can you tell us a little bit about the artisan shop?
So the artisan shop is located here in the depot of Big Southport Scenic Railway. We have about 60 different artisans that have their merchandise here. It is all handmade and they're all local to this region.
Basically, it kind of follows in the pathway of what we used to have called Kentucky Hills Industries, and that was all locally made. But our artisans are just top notch. They're all juried artisans. So with that being said, do you have anything else that you would like to share with this first video for our 250 years of McCreary County?
I would just like to say that all of this is because people made a decision to preserve it. It wouldn't be here today if the Heritage Foundation hadn't stepped up and decided to keep the history alive and tell the story for next generations about the coal mining and about the stories here, about the local people. It's not just about preserving, it's about building something that continues to grow, because we're right now working on remodeling down here in Stearns, giving a facelift to some of the buildings. So it's growing.
The restoration is going to be a major tourist attraction and for the preservation of our history. The Store 1 was the largest, really a high-end mercantile for the miners and for the residents of McCreary County and others who came to the Stearns Hotel to spend the evening. Store 3, as I understand it, was basically a grocery store, but those are being restored. We're hoping that Store 3 will become a high-end coffee shop, and Store 1 will become the new home of the McCreary County Museum. And after the museum is moved, then that beautiful corporate building can be restored. So the facade, the front, the downtown Stearns, within 2 years will look very much as it did in 1902 to 1928, when most of those buildings were built. The McCreary County Heritage Foundation has the Big South Fork Scenic Railway, manages the historic Stearns Cemetery, the golf course, and of course the museum. And so you have a lot of things that you're responsible for, and we really appreciate you and appreciate you coming on today and sharing everything with us.
Well, thank you. The list continues to grow, but I love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.